Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Omega, and welcome to the Retro Zone. In this, the first episode of the Retro Zone, it is only fitting that we go back in time to the beginning of video games. Back to 1970s, and the gaming industry was just beginning with one of the first games to become popular with a mainstream audience, and that is Pong. So what is Pong? In today's industry, you would call it a digital masterpiece of simplistic artwork. Put simply, it's a table tennis stripped down to its bare essentials, a ball and two paddles. But in the 1970s, it was revolutionary. Not only was it one of the first arcade video game machines, but it was also one of the first home video game consoles. Today, where you would play games such as Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Diablo for hours, the 1970s had Pong. Alan Alcorn started developing Pong in June 1972 for Atari, which was his first assignment while working for Atari. In September 1972, a prototype for the arcade version had been installed at Andy Capp's Tavern in Sunnyvale, California. Overnight, the prototype was a success, so much so that the prototype had to be retrofitted with a larger cornet box. Atari struggled to get the game into production due to the belief that video games were just an offshoot of pinball machines, which the general public associated with the mafia. Eventually, with funding, Atari released Pong on November 29, 1972, and by the end of 1973, they had started shipping internationally. The story doesn't end there. In 1974, an Atari engineer by the name of Harold Lee has proposed designing a home version of Pong. By the end of 1974, Atari started looking for retail outlets to sell their new product called Home Pong. In January 1975, they set up a booth at the Toy Trade Fair in New York City, but met little interest. A few days later, they met with Sears Sporting Goods at Sears Towers and was tasked with producing 150,000 units in time for the Christmas season. These first units was branded with the Sears Telegame name, and in 1976, Atari started releasing versions under their own brand name. With Pong now a successful arcade and home machine, and with Atari failing to apply for patents straight away, other companies started to enter the video game market such as Coleco and Nintendo by creating clones of Pong. Pong is often credited with being the most historically significant title within the industry. It is also many consider the game that pushed video games into mainstream popularity. Thanks for coming into Mr. Omega's Retro Zone, and time to take it back to the present.